부산으로 가는 KTX 406 열차가 곧 출발합니다.
저기요, 이상한 사람이 하나 타고 있는 것 같은데.
팀장님, 여기 11호차 응급 환자 발생했습니다.
너 꼼짝으로 잠깐 있어? 알려주세요. 아직까지 남의 안에 열려 있다니까. 우리 그냥 이것들 달고 부산으로 갑시다 바로. 지금 몇 호칸? 오늘 끝나면 들어간다. 당신들 봐봐. 지금 무슨 일이 벌어지고 있는지 몰라? 우리 열차는 더 이상 부산으로 운행할 수가 없게 됐습니다.
Welcome everybody to the Cast from the Coast. My name is Adam Miles and I'm joined as always by Tim Johnson and Josh Lambert. How you guys doing?
Hello.
Hello.
Wow. All right. So let's try that again. How are you guys doing? Wow. I love the fucking enthusiasm coming from you guys tonight.
I gave you everything I got with that hello, and you just tore me down.
I loved it. It made my night, actually.
Made your night.
You made the whole fucking podcast experience that much better, Josh. Thank you.
I try.
That's what he does. All right. Excellent, gentlemen. So tonight we have a good movie for discussion. Maybe it's a good movie. Maybe it's not a good movie. I don't know.
It's a good movie.
But I haven't heard Josh's opinion on it yet. So
Oh,
we'll
he's gonna
get
get all
Usually
fucking-
the opposite of you. So just I guess what were your opinions on the movie?
We'll get to
Just
that. We'll
Take
get
the
to
polar
that.
opposite of that, and that's me usually.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are going to talk about the Korean zombie flick, Train to Busan. Tim, do you have a synopsis for us?
I do.
Proceed.
Okay, so I'm just going to get this out here now at the beginning of the episode. My Korean pronunciation is not good.
That's fine.
So
I
when
made
I'm
up
saying
names for all the
So
characters.
when I'm saying certain names to people that might trigger, I apologize. It's not my intent. Okay, so synopsis time. Suk-woo, a father with not much time, very busy man, especially when it comes to trying to spend time with his daughter. And his daughter, Sue-Ann, are boarding the KTX, a fast train that should bring them to Seoul to Busan. Basically, so he can bring his daughter to go see his estranged ex-wife. But during the journey, the apocalypse begins, which was great, and most of the Earth's populations become flesh craving zombies. And while the KTX is shooting towards Busan, the passengers fight for their families and lives against the zombies, and each other comes to a head.
We should start out by saying that these zombies aren't Night of the Living Dead zombies. These are more akin to the 28 Days Later rage-filled zombies.
Yes. Yes.
But they are zombies.
Definitely.
They're not just like infected.
They are resurrected.
They are
They
absolutely,
die and come back.
They die and come back. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is really cool because talking about how this movie starts, I love the comedy at the beginning of this movie where you've got like the guy in the little Hyundai truck or whatever, and he's yelling at the fucking the people at the stop about, you know, fucking stopping him and killing all of his fucking crops again and all this kind of shit. It's really great banter. And then he's driving up the road and he hits the deer. And as he pulls away, the deer gets up.
That's right then
That
and there.
scene, yeah.
That's when I was like, the first time I saw it, I was like, okay, this is legit.
Yeah.
That's probably the best introduction to the virus scene that I've seen in a movie. Maybe ever.
Yeah, because they don't normally, in zombie movies, they don't normally go for the wildlife being infected, aside from, like, you know, the occasional or not even Walking Dead, Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Where they have the Dobermans, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the fact that they showed, like, an infected deer and, like, how it just, and then got up
Back
and then his
together,
eyes were
yeah.
I'm sold.
Very well done.
Sold.
Yeah. Exactly. So it starts off on a high note. I mean, a little bit of comedy, a little bit of an introduction to what's going on. There's a quarantine situation, some sort of a problem going on up at one of the chemical labs or whatever. And the guy hits a fucking deer. The deer crack, crack, crack gets back up and just looks around. And I love the gloss over look in the eyes. It's a fresh take on certain things too.
Oh, I'm
Wow.
a big fan of my zombies having white eyes.
Yeah.
I've always been. I don't know why.
It's dead-eyed eyes.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, nice. So yeah,
Really, that's all you have to say after that? Yeah. Cool.
yeah,
Cool.
that's right.
Moving on.
Cool. So the movie has a little bit of a story and a plot that it tries to kind of jam in there at first. Because let's be honest here, when this movie gets going, there's not a lot of time for story. It's fucking action when it gets rolling. So what a lot of people got to understand getting into this movie is that they try to push the majority of the story onto you within the first like 10 minutes. Everything you need to know about what's going on really takes place in the first 10 minutes. There's an outbreak of some sort of a virus that's resurrecting people and wildlife by the looks of it. And so the main character and his daughter, it's her birthday, and he's going to take her on the train to Busan to go meet his, as Tim said, estranged wife so that she can spend some time with them, with her. And early morning, they get up and they get on the train, and just weird little shit starts to kind of kick off and happen. And I'm trying to figure out, there's a couple of movies that are kind of like this too, but one of them would be like, say, Shaun of the Dead.
Where it's little glimpses, but the main character is
Don't
completely
notice, yeah.
oblivious to the fact that something's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, so the world around them is starting to go to hell. And it's like the main character himself is not seeing anything, but his daughter starts to see things, like, a couple of people on the train side as they're pulling away, and like she sees somebody jump on one of the guys, and she looks out the window. It's like,
And she's going to tell her dad, but her dad's already asleep.
yeah. So it's like, you never really know, he never really knows what's going to happen. So let's talk about characters here for a minute. So first off, we've got the father. So
Yeah, let's just call him the dad.
let's just
So
call him
I
the father.
had nicknames for all the characters.
All right, let's go with your nicknames. Josh, father.
So we got Dad.
Dad.
We got Sue-Ann, because I can pronounce Sue-Ann. So the girl.
Okay, let's just talk about
Dad.
Dad and Sue Ann first.
Okay.
Before we get too far into this.
Sure.
So we got the wonderful duo of Dad and Sue Ann.
Yep.
The girl is adorable.
And
Yep.
she can fucking act.
Yes. Like,
Very well done.
holy
Like-
shit.
Like, wow. Like, this little girl Like I believed her performance.
Yep.
Mhm.
She acted like a kid, but she acted like a kid. I
I'm
don't
not
know.
entirely unconvinced that there was a viral outbreak in Korea and they just filmed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is the level of realism she gave.
Well,
Yep.
her to give her credit for her acting at the end, she tugs at your fucking heartstrings when
Oh,
she's
was she
crying and
fucking
singing.
screaming? Yeah. Oh man,
Oh, dude, I had
I got
goosebumps the first time I
goosebumps.
saw it.
Goosebumps.
Yes, it was great. So, father overworked. He's a Wall Street type of person over in Korea. So, it's like one of those,
Like a claims adjuster or
claims
something like.
adjuster, money management,
He,
that kind of a
Yeah.
thing.
Can't remember
he's
what.
kind of a fucking dick too. Like the things that he's telling his daughter, he's a pretty big dick.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, and you can't really say that's like, well, we don't understand their culture and stuff like this, and maybe that's how
No.
they are. No, he just comes across as a dick, and I think they really did mean to portray him in that way.
But the thing that I got right at the start of the movie is that as important as his obvious his career is more important than his family.
Yeah.
But that being said, he obviously loves his daughter. Like I
As
never
soon
got
as they introduced the character and portrayed him as that guy who cares more about his job, I knew it was going to be an ending story arc where in the end he'd sacrifice himself for his daughter. That's the story they set up.
But even at the beginning, I totally got the vibe. Like he loved his daughter,
Of course.
Like it wasn't like she was a burden to him or whatever.
No.
But it was just his fucking. I mean, you come to find out that that's why him and his wife split up. Was his job was more important, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah. And his heart and his mind weren't entirely into the whole relationship as much as he loves her. Like one of the first things that you see is it's her birthday, so he gives her a gift, and it's a Nintendo Wii. And she kind of looks at it, and she looks up, and there's already the exact same Wii hooked up to the TV that he gave her for Children's Day or whatever that holiday is.
yeah, because I was like, oh, she doesn't fucking like it.
It's like,
And
no, she already has 3.
She already has one, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it goes to show that as much as he loves her, it's his heart and his mind are not necessarily there at the time. Okay, so then, I mean, we've already been talking about the child, so what was it? Her name again?
Suan.
Suan. Yeah, Suan.
I think I don't know if you're going to bring up this point, but the dad, his mother, lives there, the grandmother.
Yes.
Yes.
And she basically, has this kind of heart to heart, like you got to pay more attention to your kid, and you got to think about her, and what does she want, and all this kind of stuff. And he's dismissing it all. And she gets up and leaves, and she leaves this camcorder on the bed. So the father, picks up the camcorder and looks, and there's this recital, and the little girl is singing in front of the class, and as she's singing, she looks to where her dad should be sitting. He's not there. She stops.
Yeah.
And, I know being, a kid, it was probably pretty hard for her to get up in front of everybody and sing, but she did it, and she did it for her dad, and he wasn't there. And I like how this little
Ties in, yeah.
ties into the end, specifically the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And the mother kind of plays into it a little bit later too. Like the mother's the one, or his mother is the one that was convincing him to have a heart to heart with his ex-wife. Well, not ex-wife, his estranged wife, as it would be. And he's got to work on his family, like you said, and everything else. So she's really kind of pouring it back in there that it's you need to do what's best for the family, not just yourself. Basically, stop being a dick.
Yeah.
With that
Don't-
being said,
don't be-
they're very wealthy. That apartment was very nice.
It was, yeah.
That was nice on all accounts.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but he was in a manager position, right?
Yeah.
Like
he was
you
in a
see
leadership
him at
role
work.
at a huge company. Yeah.
So he absolutely had money.
Yeah.
He just got too bogged down into providing for his family and not spending time with them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's his character arc.
Mm-hmm.
So next characters,
Yep.
unless you have something more.
No.
Well,
we
let's
have-
we can continue on with the story. What happens next? What happens?
So what happens next? They get onto the train. And the train
Yeah.
takes off, and weird shit starts to happen. But There's a girl who gets onto the train who was actually bitten and is infected. And she's making her way through the train until she actually does fall and succumbs to the infection, and she dies. And one of the, I don't know what you would call them, one of the hostesses.
Very cute, fucking thirsty.
Tim.
Thirsty. No, but
Attendance.
I
One of
knew
the
when
attendants or hostess, yeah.
when I was watching it, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna say that she's cute. Just to kind of keep that trend going. But yeah, keep going, Adam.
So one of the attendants basically finds her and is, oh my God, panicking, and we're going to perform CPR. And all of a sudden the girl gets up and bites the shit out of her. And this is just where it starts to roll, because once one has it, the next has it. It's going to be 1 to 2,
Those
2 to 4,
two eat
4
two,
to...
and then those two eat two, and
Yep.
yeah.
And at this
You
point,
just explained third grade mitosis.
woo, third grade mitosis.
Ooh-wee.
That's right.
Yeah.
But at this point as well, we get introduced, because the little girl decides that she's got to go to the bathroom, and we get introduced to my favorite fucking character in this movie.
Fuck, he's so good. He's so good.
The guy is amazing. Sang-hwa. Sang-hwa.
So, are you referring to pregnant wife's husband?
Yes,
Yeah.
pregnant wife's
Yeah.
husband.
Okay.
So, is that his nickname?
That's what I referred to him as.
Okay, so pregnant wife.
Guy with the pregnant wife.
Guy with the pregnant wife. So, this guy is a dick as well.
He's a badass.
He's a badass, and he's a dick, but he's a softie for his wife. It's even funnier because he's like, hey, fuck off. And the next thing you know, yes, dear, whatever you need, dear. And like his pregnant wife is like everything, which is funny because it's a polar opposite situation. Because here we have the father with his daughter who's basically, I don't want to say neglecting, but his heart's not in it. And then we have this entirely other character, this badass bit of a dick guy, but his wife and to-be child is like the fucking center of his universe, and everything that he's doing in this movie is for them.
Mhm.
I love that how throughout the whole movie he never refers to Dad as his name. He just calls him douche, an asshole.
Hey, douchebag. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, douche. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's my favorite character in this movie because he's got some of the best lines. He's got some of the best action in it. And when shit hits the fan and something needs to be done, this guy, he's the guy that you want on your side. He gets shit
Fucking
done, man. When they start like wrapping their arms in like the fucking tape and cardboard and shit, and he's just punching the fucking zombies out, it's like, this guy's the best, man.
Mm-hmm.
I love everything about it. So we get introduced to him and his pregnant wife, and we get introduced to a bunch of other characters who are a mixture of fodder and key characters. And one of the characters that we get introduced to, I'm gonna say you probably have a nickname for him along the lines of dickish
Dickhead
old
CEO.
dickhead CEO or something. Yeah, dickish old.
Yeah,
businessman.
CEO guy. Yeah. I felt he existed, and I didn't really understand his character because it's just amplified version of Dad. Like this is the route Dad will go down if his kid lives with his daughter. He just becomes like top tier douchebag.
Yeah, absolutely. But he also in like a lot of these movies, he's one of these antagonist type of characters that appears much like the overly religious lady in The Mist.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's one of these characters that is brought in to basically convince people to act in a certain manner against what you really wish that they would to kind of survive, and that being the catalyst to the fact that they basically get fucking slaughtered later because they're dicks for listening to this asshole CEO guy. But yeah, so once again we have another contrasting character that's really interestingly written, but he's not important enough to actually have a huge role in the movie, but he is a turning point in the movie.
He is a serious dick as it progresses too. I was like, man, this guy is like next level douche.
Well, at one point, he
Just
even
seems
tries
like
to
with every
convince
step,
everybody
he's
that
just
they're
going
bitten
crazier
and
and
shit.
crazier. He's like straight up pushing people into the horde to get through. It's like, fuck.
Yep. And when he doesn't get his way, he's like claiming, "Oh, they're bitten. We need to
Yeah.
get rid of them and shit." And people are freaking out.
It's
So they
hysterics.
just listen. It's hysterics, right? So they're just listening to him. We have pregnant lady herself.
Yep.
So and she's a sweetheart.
She takes on a maternal role.
She does take on the maternal role. Obviously, I mean she's pregnant, but she takes a big responsibility with the child, and she becomes quite a powerful character in the movie.
Yep.
Just for the fact that wherever she is, the kid now is, and it's impressive that way.
We also had Homeless Man.
Homeless Man.
Yeah.
So homeless man, I felt bad for.
Yeah, so I think he has kind of seen some shit. Like he already saw it happen, all of his friends, family, whatever. He saw like the epidemic burst through, and now he's just on this train along for the ride, trying to, get somewhere safe.
Yeah, even if it's 20 minutes of reprieve from whatever the hell's
Yeah.
going on outside of the train. All right, so we got homeless dude. We got the baseball team.
Yeah.
With the one girl.
And the cheerleader.
The cheerleader, yeah. So interesting group of characters because right off the bat they got weapons.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to know what's funny? The main baseball kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
The main guy has been in literally every Korean film I have watched recently.
Oh, really?
The same guy.
Well,
He was
everyone
in,
I've watched too.
He was in obviously Train to Busan. He was in Parasite, and he was also in that witch movie.
The Witch Part 1 Subversion.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
I was like, I fucking love this guy.
Popular actor.
He was good.
Love this guy. Yeah.
Like, that's the big thing about this movie, though, that a lot of people have to just understand going into it. There are no real shitty actors in this movie.
No.
Like, whatever people might think about this movie, some people might think that this is like just some lowbrow zombie flick. It's almost like the Korean filmmakers like dumped a shit ton of money into getting good fucking actors.
I can tell you right now, the budget on this movie must be astronomical because there's no way you're shutting down a train station in fucking Seoul or anywhere in Korea that's a main station without a shitload of money.
Well, we're probably
Do you want to know what I also found, though?
Okay.
I also found that the reason why this movie worked for me was that the filmmakers took the subject material like serious.
Mm-hmm.
They took it serious. And I mean, given, everything that's going on right now with, the coronavirus and stuff, I mean, it's almost as if like big places like this, like that's a very real possibility. And I know over right now it is a fucking real. But I just found that there was as fantastic as, a zombie apocalypse is, the filmmakers and the actors, they took it serious. Like, it wasn't like, oh, we're just doing a fucking zombie movie. Like, it was, we're doing a movie that just so happens to be about zombies, but they took it as serious as they would, a fucking crime drama or so.
And it shows.
So,
yeah, it absolutely shows.
Back to your point there, Josh, about the budget. It was actually fairly minuscule in the grand scheme of things. So apparently it was 10 billion South Korean won, which is estimated to be 11.4 million Canadian.
Wow, so that's not a big budget at all.
That's really surprising.
Yeah.
Because trains are
money.
time. Like, that's the... Yeah.
Well, I mean, you also got to think, though, how much... Like, all the train stuff, that could have just been on a set where they're actually on the train, right?
Yeah, I'm
mean,
talking about the station scenes.
Yeah.
Like, they filmed
true.
a great deal in the stations, man. Like, I don't know about Korea, but when I was in London, the fucking trains there are packed at all hours.
And I'm assuming that it would be the same in Korea.
Probably more so, because the population's larger.
I mean, they very well could have planned this entirely with the government's help around certain things, like if there's a holidays or stations that are under repair or development being built or anything else. Anything like that they could have based it around, so to get the most out of their money.
True.
Okay. Anything else you want to talk about for characters?
So we had the baseball team. They were kind of bitches, man. Like,
except
other
for
than
the main
one
guy. Yeah.
Like, I was expecting them to go down with the baseballs, fucking swinging. No, they just got murked. I was like, this is the worst
And
sports
two
team
of them,
ever.
they walk down to the bottom of the stairs, and one right after the other get fucking hauled off by zombies.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? You didn't just see the one get hauled off? The second one gets hauled off the same way? Yeah,
They
were
were
kind of
bitches.
bitches.
So we had the conductor. I really loved the conductor character.
I
don't know
felt
if you guys...
so bad.
Especially because
Yeah.
he tried his best to help the
He's
dick.
just trying to do his job.
He came out and fucking tried to help fucking douchey's CEO, and then fucking just
Ends
That'll
up being the
happen.
victim. Like, that fucking
Yeah.
sucks.
I was like, yeah, this guy's just trying to do his job. He's being polite over the intercom.
Yeah, the whole time, man. He's under
Yeah.
pressure.
He's not panicking. He's just like, yeah,
The best part is
we're
when
getting
he's
this
talking
train.
to the head stations. Okay, please let us know. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there was frustration, but like he wasn't pissed off at people.
no. He was a good guy.
All right, so let's move on to effects work.
Okay.
This movie, surprisingly, I mean, we just revealed that the budget was like 11.4 Canadian. This movie had like fucking top-notch effect work.
Fuck yeah.
Like this movie blows away top fucking budget movies that we've seen in the States. Like in my opinion, I would much prefer the zombies in this to like say World War Z.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there was a mixture of CGI with the practical, but I thought it was
Yeah.
it wasn't flawless, but it was pretty fucking close. Like some of the scenes where like they were cracking up against the windows and you'd see them fall through were done in CGI,
Yeah.
but the moment that they start getting up, it's all practical. It's people. You know, so it was a
Yeah.
good mixture. The zombie designs themselves. Tim, you brought up one of the best points. Glazed over eyes are like a fucking top-notch zombie situation.
Mm-hmm.
But I also liked that you look at these zombies, they just turned, right?
Yep.
So they have the wounds that whatever, you know, they suffered before they died, you
Mhm.
know, is what they had when they became a zombie. But one of the things that I do want to bring up in kind of a negative is that zombies, the lore that has been out for, you know, however long zombies have been out, so fucking, you know, since George Romero, they
Yeah.
want to eat fucking brains. They want to eat their victim. But I found in this, they didn't eat their victim. They attacked them and made zombies, and then they moved
Yeah.
on to the next person to attack. And it was almost like, what, it's going to sound really stupid, but what were the fucking motives of the zombies? Like, there was no clear... They
So-
bit them in the neck or bit them wherever, and then that was it. On to the next thing. Right?
My concept with that was it's a viral plague. There's a lot of viral plagues that exist for the sole purpose of reproducing and spreading the plague.
Yeah.
So there's diseases that they like infect slugs, and the whole thing it does is it takes over the mind of the slug and makes it go to like the top of a flower, so that a bird will come and eat it and infect the bird. So my concept was that the zombies are just existing to produce more zombies.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's
But the big thing for me is trying to establish the rules of these zombies, and there is a couple strange ones, like
Well-
they can't see in the dark.
I did.
I think the glazed
I did
over
like
eyes
that.
kind of add to that, though. It's almost like, you know, they have inhibited vision.
And I like that they're trying to do something different with the zombie, because like I said, it is very well played through, and the rules are quite well established already, you know, hit to the brain. But these, like the ones that they downed, I didn't see them necessarily go for the brain. It was just if you put them out of commission kind of thing.
Yeah, they hit them with bats and whatever other fucking melee weapons. But I also noticed that husband would be breaking necks, and
Yeah.
if they would go down.
Yeah.
That
So,
doesn't.
Just gives
I
them,
mean,
like, a
unless
second
they were,
life,
like-
I don't know.
Well, I suppose that is killing fucking activity
brain.
to
Brain stem.
brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right.
So yeah, so I follow similar to what Josh was saying when it comes to it. It's almost like it's a Hunter game situation where, like, you know, you would have like all kinds of viruses and diseases that just they exist just to infect and move on to infect the next. right? And that's kind of the game that this plays, because there's a couple of scenes in the movie, especially with, spoiler alert everybody, when father to be is infected and he changes, and it suddenly goes from the zombies trying to get him to just trying to get around him. And you know what I mean? They're no longer focused on him.
I mean, I did like that he was trying to fight the infection, so his eyes are there, but he's, you know what I mean? I did like that.
He has one of the fucking zombies up, and he's like using it as like a fucking, yeah.
He was just so badass. I've never seen a zombie movie where someone just comes out and starts fucking punching.
It was good.
He was badass.
Absolutely.
Hey there, it's Deborah Voorhees from Friday the 13th, Part 5, and you are listening to They Cast from the Coast.
Okay, so the other cool thing that's about these zombies is that I really like, it isn't just the fast motion. I found that the cool quote-unquote hero zombies were the ones that were like, they're on the ground and they start like crack, 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 and like, and they're very fidgety, spastic, movements.
Like Exorcist.
Yeah,
almost.
and there was that one, it was like this guy, and he's like on the ground, and he like fucking stands up, straight fucking up from the ground. And I watched a video clip not that long ago of the actor himself doing that behind the scenes, and he fucking did that. Like, he was like curled up on the ground, and he like fucking stood straight up from his position on the ground. It was like, that was impressive shit, the way that they pulled that off. It's maybe it's because I'm a big guy and I couldn't do it. I'm just impressed. You know what I mean? So I like how they were spastic and they had like jittery movements to them.
Yeah.
All right. So the zombies were really cool. So the other thing that we just kind of brought up about this was that the zombies themselves also have almost like vision impairment. So it's almost like out of sight, out of mind for these things. If they can't see something, they just, and now it isn't necessarily dark, because at one point they splash water and put newspaper on the door, and the zombies just kind of forget that there's something there. They can't see it.
But there's also auditory senses because they use the phone.
That's right. So they're listening, and they can hear. And I mean, going back to Homeless Man, he steps on the fucking can and gets them after them too, right? So they're high on their senses, but there is one of those, if I can't see it, I can't attack it. Like, I don't know where it is. So they will jump.
That's probably, honestly, the biggest problem I had with this movie. And that's a minor complaint. Just that they didn't really flesh out the rules, and it didn't really make sense to me. But
I did like it, though, because it did add to some of the plot points. Like, I liked the whole idea when they were going through the tunnels.
Yeah.
And that was their chance to move. And I feel that with that vision impairment, like, they would have been fucked from the get-go. So it's like, you think of something that's undead, how do you kill what's already dead or whatever? And, those zombies don't necessarily have a lot of weaknesses. I mean, they do, but the biggest thing with zombies is they come as a horde, right? Yeah. Like, they could fucking just pile up and get you. I like that they gave this kind of weakness to them, because to me it made the story much more interesting, and these zombies, for that one specific trait, are now more memorable in all the fucking, because I mean, this came out.
There's a lot of zombie movies out there, right?
Yeah, well, and especially when this came out, 2016. There's a shit ton of zombie stuff, right? And I mean, they're going against, the most iconic zombie thing right now, which would be The Walking Dead. I would pick this movie over The Walking Dead any day. Yeah, that's right. I said it. I'm still bitter.
All right, keep being bitter.
I will.
Now, did you guys say that there was an Americanized version being worked on this, or they scrapped it? Or
I think it's still on the books, but I hope to fuck they scrap it.
I'd like to
No,
see one set in the UK because trains are actually big there. I think it'd be weird if they did it in Canada or
That's
US.
okay. So what I heard is that they're doing an American remake
Mhm.
or a Western remake of it, or Eastern,
Western.
whatever. Um, which would be cool. I agree with Josh. It should be set in the UK, but I also heard that they're literally working on a sequel.
Well, the sequel's done. The sequel's coming out in the next couple of months. It's called Peninsula. Takes place 4 years after the events of Train to Busan. Yeah. So, but the thing that they did announce with the original, the thing that they did announce with the American remake is that it would still be Train to Busan. So it would be an American director's take on the Korean movie. So it would actually still be in Korea. And there would probably be some American actors. And there would just be everybody fucking talking English at this point, or maybe the occasional Korean person, speaking in their language. But it would still be literally Train to Busan. It would just be an American reimagining, is what it was.
Like I said, I'd really like to see it take place in like the heart of London because that's pretty much the equivalent.
Oh, even more so. Even more so. I mean, the trains, Japan, China. So Japan, China, Korea, and London are like the biggest in the world for the train systems that they got like that.
Yep.
And the trains are like life.
And they got the channel, which is like an underground channel that the entire train goes black for like 20 minutes while it goes under the ocean and pops up in fucking Brussels.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Yeah, so like I said, so Peninsula is the sequel, and it takes place 4 years after. A couple of posters have already been released for it. There's nothing that's officially been stated other than takes place 4 years later. Has nothing to do with the first movie directly, except for the fact that it's 4 years aftermath. Same universe. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that they don't do a gimmick where it's like every movie has to take place on a train or some sort of moving, like.
Well, that's why they're calling it Peninsula, because they don't want it.
Actually, it's called Train to Busan presents Peninsula.
Well, there you go. So they're associating it just so that people know it's the sequel in the same universe, but I don't think it's going to take place in a train.
Yeah, I think if they called it Train to Busan 2, it'd be kind of dumb.
Train harder.
Train harder.
Yeah, you'd be expecting like train
or die.
You'd be expecting more train type shit in the sequel. But I mean, one of the posters showed like it looked like a fucking a seaway, and there was like a big fucking ship on its side on the docks. So it's like there's gonna be something interesting with that. So, Josh, notes.
Yes, I have some notes here.
Can't wait.
So this is my first reaction to the movie Train to Busan. Notes recorded at March 8th, 2020 at 6:35 p.m. Opening credits open up, Train to Busan, to which I immediately thought, where the fuck is Busan?
Jeez, man.
And then I Googled it, and I said, oh, South Korea, I guess. Okay. And then I wrote, I can't help but feel I'm losing some of the context here. 40 words were just said, and the subtitle says, what a bad day. Like, I literally stopped and counted, and 40 words, what I assume were words, were spoken at some point, and the subtitles just said, what a bad day.
Takes a lot of words to speak something. Yeah.
Yeah. And words don't have necessarily identical connotations that they can soup up to English, so makes sense. Okay, zombie deer intro might be my favorite introduction to the zombie virus in any zombie movie, which I think I still have to stand by that. That scene when the zombie deer like crackled up and you see its eyes glaze over and kind of walk off, that to me is the epitome of how a zombie movie should introduce the virus.
Agreed. Preach, brother. Preach.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so something I noticed. Buddy here has a Burger King cup and a McDonald's bag. If you rewatch, you'll see the main character. He's got a McDonald's bag, but a Burger King cup. Listen, you're quite the baller to go to 2 different restaurants to get your meal
For the
established.
shakes at the other place.
I just put bah ha 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 ha. She has 3 Wii's.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Was there 3 of them? I only
Yeah,
noticed the
because
one that was
it
set
said
up.
it said I got one last year, and then she talked a little bit more, and then the subtitle said and one for Child's Day, and then this would be the 3rd. It's like you're just every time you need to get a gift, you just ask your assistant what's the big gift that kids like right now, and he just says Nintendo Wii, and every time he buys a Nintendo Wii.
That's hilarious.
Korean businessman who cares more about his work than family is definitely going to be put in a situation where he has to fight to keep his family alive. Oh shit, crazy spasm lady snuck onto the train before they locked it up. Where's the guy who's supposed to be checking these tickets? There's a suspicious man in the washroom. Everyone's concerned. Meanwhile, there's a lady literally falling and dying on the ground and no one bats an eye.
Yep.
We forgot about 2 characters, and I just realized this now. The old ladies. They were
Oh,
great.
the old sisters, yeah.
I
They were
wrote,
great.
I love this old egg lady. She just loves to roast the rioters. Because they're fucking watching the news and she's calling them like degenerates and how they should just get a job, and back in her day they'd just be re-educated. And the other old lady's like, shh, you can't say that. This sports team is pretty fucking lame. They just sat there and got mauled and let these 200-pound girls murk a whole train full of people when they had fucking bats. Weak. They're not going to nationals, I tell you that. This is super racist, but do Koreans just
Oh.
not get in fights? Because not a single punch was thrown. I feel like if something started to go down, some punches would get thrown. And then I wrote, never mind. The pregnant lady's husband finally started knocking some motherfuckers out. It just felt strange to me that all these people are like swarming and no one like put their dukes up or like tried to defend themselves in any way, shape,
Yep.
or form. And then this motherfucker just comes in and starts hauling ass.
Yes, badass.
What the fuck? Why are there helicopter zombies? So, do you guys make sense
Yeah.
of that? There's helicopters flying over and then corpses just start
helicopters-
flying down?
Well, what I assumed is
Took off.
whoever's in the helicopter saw a horde coming towards them. They started lifting off. The zombies held on.
That's exactly what I
they're
pictured.
trying to fly with them.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
I just
they
pictured
would fall.
like,
that one
helicopter
fucking
fucking
clip,
parachuters.
that fucking cell phone footage that was shown was fucking
Yeah,
great.
when, like hits
Yeah.
the fucking car and comes up after him.
And then gets up and starts. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great.
And this was another great quote from husband. I made that.
Yep.
Pointing to his wife's stomach.
I made that.
At this point, I actually had to stop watching the movie and go to work. So I watched this movie in 2 parts. That gave me about 9 hours in between to let what I just watched settle in and think about.
So it was at this point I fucking hated it.
No. Actually, I think I liked it a little more after that, because that allowed me to kind of settle in. Okay, the virus has been established. We have these great scenes with the deer. We have these great scenes with what the cracking dead kind of already. Man, he's really teaching his daughter some shitty life lessons right now in this epidemic. That would have been the father.
Telling his daughter to basically just think about herself and.
Yeah, just worry about yourself, yeah.
Mhm.
Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, you gotta do what you gotta do. Man, that was going to be a crazy character arc if the daughter had just gotten eaten right now. Too bad Mr. Pregnant husband stopped it.
Too bad. I like how you put that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it would have been a crazy character arc. I love how he just refers to the main character as asshole and douchebag.
That is great.
Great scene when the glass breaks. My favorite so far. This was my favorite part of the movie. When they're all leaning up against the glass and you see it crack, 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 and then they all just fall over.
And they
into the
spill
thing.
in and. Yep.
Yeah, it was a great effect and really well done.
Can I just interject something before you continue?
Sure.
That was one of the things that I liked about World War Z was how all the zombies like piled on each other and like almost
Well,
like a wave of bodies. And I liked it because it visually it was cool looking, but it didn't make any sense to me. But when they did it in this movie, I loved it.
Here's
Isn't that
why it was
weird?
included in World War Z. It is a pivotal chapter in Max Brooks' The Zombie
Yeah.
Survival Guide.
Yeah.
So they wanted to incorporate that somehow.
Yeah. No, but what I'm just saying is that don't get me started on that fucking movie. I
Yep.
love the book. I
Yep.
love the book.
Yeah.
Anyways, go on. Sorry, Josh.
Man, the cost to shut down this train station must have been insane. Apparently not. What was the purpose of trapping yourself in the bathroom? You guys deserve to be eaten for this.
Jeez.
There's like 4 of them shut in this little fucking bathroom. I was like, that is the worst idea. Thank you for the subtle subtitle that said Car 9. I couldn't possibly have figured that out by the fact that it was just a Korean letter with the number 9. There was literally a part where it was like this little symbol, and then it just shows the number 9, and this subtitle says Car 9.
Nice.
Pregnant wife husband guy is a badass. I don't know what he did to warrant that, but there was a few times. They're literally just punching their way through a zombie horde. I've never seen this, and I want to see it in every zombie movie going forward.
Yep.
Agreed.
A great part in any zombie movie when the rules are established. They can't operate in the dark. That's a new one for me. Another great moment in a zombie movie is when they outsmart the zombies when they use the phone in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they all start clamoring. Yeah.
Right.
Great. That's
So
great.
there's some like iconic rules I have for horror movies. Like one of them, it should be a confined space with minimal characters for a good movie.
Mhm.
There should be rules established, and in zombie movies there should be certain scenes. And one of the scenes is when they outsmart the zombies. Why did they introduce this bowl cut CEO guy? He's just an amplified douchebag of all the negative traits the main character has. And then I wrote, oh fuck, we had the gotta amputate an arm moment. Oh, they didn't do it. So that's another moment in zombie movies that they should always have. That moment when they realize we should amputate this arm. They killed the only likable character, Granny in PWG. PWG, I think, was pregnant woman
pregnant
guy.
wife guy.
Pregnant
Yep.
wife. Pregnant wife guy. They killed them. What do you reckon the odds are that Busan is just as much of a shit show as all the rest of this place, and this whole movie's just going nowhere?
Probably very good, because at one point or another, all the stations are closing down on their way.
Every station was just fucked. Fuck, she's gonna let them in. That was the old lady. I said,
Oh,
these
that was
people
so
are the
fucking
fucking
good.
worst people to try and survive an apocalypse. They all suck.
I was so happy when the old woman.
Oh, when she
fucking-
let them in, I was like, what was the purpose of this?
And did you get the slight hint of the dad when all the you see all the silhouettes on the window fucking dying, that he's like, good.
Yeah.
Like I totally got that. Like he didn't
Oh, yeah.
smirk,
A little bit of smug.
but his eyes
Yeah.
smirked.
Yep. I love how the conductor is just trying to do his job. He's being very professional.
Yeah.
Man, this CEO bowl cut guy is the piece of personified piece of shit. It's almost too much. ... Almost. I draw the line at letting the conductor die. Why did the homeless guy suddenly want to sacrifice himself? This goes against everything his character arc has been developed so far of self-preservation.
Well, people showed care
Man.
towards him.
Yeah, I suppose. Man, the zombies smashing through the glass is definitely overused in this film, but I don't care. It's still very cool. It was like the 4th time they used that same effect. I think that was just their one that they had in the bank.
Yep.
Why don't they just roundhouse kick his ass off the train? I think that
Roundhouse.
that was when the bowl cut guy was on the train with
the wife, the girl, and the
pregnant
father.
wife, daughter, and yeah. I was like, why didn't you just fucking kick this motherfucker right off? And I thought, you literally just put your hand in his mouth and he bit you. This is your own fault.
Yep. That was probably, in my opinion, that was
Alright.
probably one
So
scene in the movie where I went, why the fuck? They could have made it look like it was
You
more of
deserve
an accident, but he literally went to
Yeah.
go like almost stop the guy from biting and put his hand in the guy's mouth like, don't do that. I'm like, he's not a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. Oh shit, is this finally the amputation moment? Oh, no, it's not. Man, man, this is fucking dark. It's the little kid's birthday. Cut her a break. I wrote,
Nope.
this whole movie reminds me of DayZ, the game. So in DayZ, I think I've talked to you a little bit about it, but it's like a extremely amplified survival game where your whole purpose is just to survive as long as possible. And takes place in like rural Russia, and there's all of these trains all over the game. It just looks very much like that.
Nice.
The pregnant wife and the 6-year-old girl are the only two to survive. What the fuck? The train definitely could have just plowed through all that debris instead of stopping.
Yep.
I wrote, zombies don't sing. And I wrote, I think blasting them both away probably would have been a better ending. And then the reaction to the fact that they were humans and not zombies. I said, she's awful sad looking for a girl who owns 3 Wii's.
Jeez.
And that's it.
Nice.
That's
No,
funny.
no, I like your idea about the ending. That would have been a very Myst-like ending. You know what I mean? Like all hope is lost. You know what I mean? If they would have blown them away, but still. Tim, do you have any trivia for us?
Fuck yeah, you.
Fuck yeah! All right.
Fuck yeah.
Trivia
Fuck
time
yeah.
with Tim.
Hold on, let me
Trivia time with Tim.
let me bring it
Okay.
up here because I was killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Fucking working on the
Birds, no, no
thumbnail.
one.
Working on the thumbnail.
Ooh,
Get that
can
shit
make that
done.
thumbnail.
All right, so the Train to Busan is the 6th highest grossing domestic film of all time in South Korea.
Nice.
Which I
Did
thought
they
was pretty
just not make a lot of films? Because that's pretty impressive.
I think it was just popularity.
cool. Well, I think it's because it was only 11 million to
And I
make,
guess
and it
It
probably
reached
made
popularity in
lunch.
Western civilization, too.
Yeah.
The director, Sang-ho Yeon's first live-action film. Everything else that he did before this was all animated.
Nice.
This movie became the first South Korean film to cross the 1 million mark in the Singapore box office.
Mm-hmm.
Yu Gong, I'm assuming, is one of the actors. Yes, was actually born in Busan.
You gone. Okay. That was the father.
Okay, yeah, he's actually from there. This is also the first South Korean zombie apocalypse action film ever.
Nice.
I can
So if
beat
this
that.
is this country's first fucking zombie film and that's what they do, I want to see more.
There was a time where Korea, I thought it was like against their culture to have anything showing the
It
dead.
might have been.
And the only reason I know this is because when they printed Korean Magic the Gathering cards, they removed any skeletons or zombies and just replaced the art with something else.
Nice.
Most countries, wherever the film was released, including its native country, has been giving a rating around 15, but only in India and Malaysia the film has been rated 18, largely because both countries don't have a 15 rating. I'm assuming it's 14A. That's This film was nominated in 2017 Asian Film Award in Best Editor category. And apparently there is a animated prequel. I'm not even going to pronounce
Soul
the
Station.
name.
Soul
Soul Yoke?
Station.
And it was released a month after the movie.
It's actually really good. If you guys have Shudder, it's on Shudder. It's
Oh, is
just
it?
called
Nice.
Soul Station. It's really fucking good.
Okay. So the actor, kick-ass
Mhm.
dude.
Yep.
Right? The man with the pregnant wife used to be the main character's personal trainer.
Sweet.
So when he's
And-
calling him a douchebag, he knows that he is.
So with that, I have one more. The word zombie is mentioned once in this film, and with that, trivia time with Tim
Every
is over.
time. Nice. All right, gentlemen. Now it's time to give our final thoughts on this. And today, I want to start with Josh.
Fuck, that's a
You
hard
always
one.
start
Fine.
with Josh.
Today, I want to
Fucking
go
hard.
with Tim.
No. I'm gonna go back to editing.
Josh. Final thoughts.
This is a hard one for me, honestly, because I like the movie, but the average and casual horror viewer will not watch this. The average and the majority public do not watch
Yeah.
subtitled films. I've watched a few,
Lame.
and this one's not bad as far as keeping up with the storyline because it is very simple. The copy I had, the subtitles kind of sucked too. I don't know if it was the same for everyone, but there was moments where there would be like a block of text show up on the screen, and then they would start talking, and the text would disappear.
Yeah, I think it was your copy. The version that I watched was pretty
Yeah,
good.
I mean, I watched it on Shudder again, and it was perfect.
So,
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't watch it on Shudder. I watched it on my Amazon stick. I have Shudder.
so I'm gonna have to settle it in at a pretty good. So it's above good, just not quite to the R rating. Just on the simple fact that the majority of people, if I recommended to them, they would not watch it and they would not enjoy the film. So
Okay.
I thought it was a very good film overall. It had some great scenes. They tried some new stuff. Some of it was a little cheesy, but the effects work was phenomenal. The acting was phenomenal, and that's without any lines being spoken in a language that I can understand.
Nice. Okay. I'll go next because Tim's probably still doing some editing and shit. I love this fucking movie.
I can do two things at once.
No, I'm
Go
I'm
ahead.
just gonna go. I'm just gonna go.
Yeah, just
I
go.
love this fucking movie. So, Korean cinema has proven to be a fucking powerhouse in the last decade, producing things such as Old Boy, I Saw the Devil, and now Train to Busan. And there's just more and more. I mean, obviously, Parasite. Parasite won a fucking
Oh
Oscar.
my God!
Yeah,
Parasite.
I mean, it won the
Love that.
Oscar for Best Picture, and it's a thriller drama, not necessarily horror, but it's just going to show that cinema from all over the world is catching up really quickly with American or Western cinema, and that's not a bad thing. So the argument that I find with the average film goer or horror fan saying, "Oh, if it's got subtitles, I lose interest," I think that that's just a bullshit thing. That's a bullshit excuse in my opinion, because if you really truly want good cinema, it doesn't matter. Because I find with a lot of these movies, the subtitles don't take you out, and especially if you watch enough movies with subtitles, because we've talked about this before. My wife has some hearing issues, so we watch almost everything with subtitles. And I'm just used to watching subtitles now anyway. And a lot of people will say the same thing. They'll watch movies with subtitles and it just, there it is. You don't know what you're missing if you don't take the time to watch movies like Train to Busan, its prequel Soul Station, once again I Saw the Devil and Old Boy. These are just fantastic flicks, you know?
Even that Norwegian movie with Krampus we watched, that was subtitled.
Oh, yeah. Tons of that shit, right? I mean, right down to one of the first true, or the first during the French extreme horror ages, High Tension and Martyrs and Frontiers and all these movies. If you didn't watch, the subtitled versions, it was shit otherwise. So I don't think that it's an excuse anymore. That should be accepted, that somebody doesn't watch a movie just because of the subtitles, because you're missing out. You got to get out there and watch more of these. So that being said, that doesn't deflect from my take on the movie by any means. It's just a grade A movie, in my opinion. The zombies are a fresh take, which is something that's very rare nowadays. The introduction of the virus we talked about, the actual spastic maneuvering of the zombies and how they act and work and the rules that are beset upon it are all great. The acting is amazing, and it has one of my favorite character badasses of any zombie movie ever, punching the fucking shit out of zombies with his bare fists. I love the guy. I give this movie a hard R. Recommended. Hard R. Tim?
Well, I just finished my thumbnail, so that shows you how awesome I am. But okay, so for me, zombie movies were my favorite type of horror film. I loved them ever since I was a kid. That was my thing. Like I love slashers, but growing up, my heart was in zombie films, and it sucked for the longest time because there wasn't anything new. And thankfully, because of the popularity of The Walking Dead, everybody was making zombie movies, and it got to the point where it was oversaturated, and it was just everybody's repeating the same thing, and a lot of stuff was lost. The spirit of a zombie film, and everybody was focusing more on the survivors and blah 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 blah. But when this movie came out, I haven't had fun at a zombie movie like I did with this one in a very, very long time, because it made, I don't know, like there was just, you got the core cast of characters, and there's this sense of dread and impending doom through the whole thing. You don't know who's going to survive. The stakes are fucking high. They're trapped on a fucking train. They're going to a place that most likely is already overrun. So like Josh said earlier, the whole journey is pointless. You got really strong antagonist. You got a really strong protagonist. Like it was great. The special effects were awesome. They won me over with the white eyes, because I mean a lot of the actual zombies themselves aren't really over the top. Like they're not Walking Dead walking corpses, right? But there was enough aesthetic choices that they made that they're zombies. They're covered in blood. They're walking fucking amazing. Like the jittery, muscle spasm kind of look was fantastic. I loved all the characters. I love how everybody was utilized. Clearly, everybody had a story arc. Even, someone that wasn't necessarily important to the story. The old women, they had a complete story arc. They started one place and they ended somewhere else, and it was finished. Like every character had that. Every character had that moment. I'm rambling now.
But that's okay.
I love this movie. I got the same amount of enjoyment watching it the fifth time as I did the first time. It's definitely a staple in my collection of favorite zombie movies. I want more from this world, though I feel that the sequel will not live up to the first one. Like I feel that it won't. It's like you caught lightning in a bottle. And I just feel that it's just going to be a normal zombie movie, this second one, but I could be wrong. My rating, I'm gonna copy Adam and hard fucking R.
Nice.
I fucking loved this movie. I loved it. I loved it. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close for me. Hard R.
2 hard R's and a PG. I think that's a pretty good representation of what this movie says.
And you know what, Josh? Your opinion wasn't that different from anybody else's.
No, it was a good movie.
No, it's just how you feel on the matter. That's all it is, overall. But yeah, I mean, we all felt the same way about the movie. And it's just, where you sit on your recommendation scale. That's all. So that's great.
We got to start doing movies that we hate.
We do.
Because I feel like every one that we talk about, it's like, I just saw this movie, it was awesome, I want to talk about it.
Probably the next movie that we'll do will have some more differing opinions. I think so too. So we'll plan for that one after this. So, all right, gentlemen, I think it's about time that we wrap things up. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. Please do not forget to check us out on YouTube to like and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget, we go live on Monday nights. And check us out on...
When it works.
Shut up. Check us out on Facebook. Facebook, like and subscribe to the pages, share out the content, and don't forget we're also on Patreon, so open up your hearts and your wallets. And check us out on all of the best podcasting platforms that there are out there. Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, etc. And until next time, Tim.
Stay spooky, everybody.
Josh.
I made this.
That was fucking creepy, man. It was like, I made this. All right. Until next time, everybody. See you later.
Good night.